What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap Podcast. It's your boy Evan. Your boy Will is on the other side, and we've got a special guest today. Quarterback for JMU Dukes, JC Evans is in the house. Local South Florida boy, just like your boys, and we are here to kind of let y'all know his story, let you know his journey of where he wants to go and what he wants to do through both college, NIL, and the dream of making it further and farthest that he can go. So, JC, give us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, where you're from, how high school, how the high school journey went for you, and how you ended up at JMU, and what you've thought about JMU so far. I mean, you guys went from a couple of new coaching staffs to now this staff. How's it going?
It's been amazing. I really enjoyed this time. Last year I spent under Coach Chesney and Coach Kennedy, and really I'm from. I most recently lived in Miami, Florida, but I'm from all over the place. I spent time in Houston, spent some time in Maryland, also spent some time in Cincinnati, Atlanta. So I've been around the block, but most of my family is from down this area. I came into contact with Coach Kennedy around last spring, and ever since then, or really 2 years ago now, my senior year, and ever since
Right.
then, I could just tell that they're genuine people and they really care about their players. So, I've enjoyed this time I spent under their coaching.
So yeah, and you said you're a journeyman already, and we kind of have seen in the college rankings where the journeyman of the fifth, 6 year guys, you're going to be the first class to be back to normal on the fifth year. That's all you got. So, with regards to now your timeline is set. You've got your 4 years. You redshirted this year, so you got that year of eligibility for you. Now, as you get ready for spring ball, what's your mindset, knowing that you've got a couple, new guys coming in for competition, knowing how competitive you are, having that South Florida mindset, baller. I know how I am when kids came in, so it's like I get it from your perspective, but let the people know who kind of, it's hard to explain how competitive we really are to other people. So kind of give them that, like where your mindset is going into the spring now.
Yeah, when most people see a guy transfer in, they might get a little nervous and wonder about their future. But I saw them bring in two new guys, and I got excited. Honestly, I just can't wait to compete when I get back on campus because that's all I really know. That's what I've been doing all my life. Even in high school, I've had to deal with multiple quarterback battles. I never was just given a job in high school. When I moved down to Miami Central, we had a three-way quarterback battle, and we played on a
Right.
national schedule. So I'm used
Bishop
to it, and
Foreman, you
exactly.
name it. You name it.
So I'm used to this for sure. So I really just can't wait to get to work.
So
Yeah.
what was
Go ahead, Will.
what was that switch for you? You said that you were kind of in those battles with quarterbacks, from high school. Like what do you think set you apart in those battles, and what pushed you over the edge to, show your coach that you were the one?
Really, just my mental. I feel like my mental aspect of the game has improved a severe amount over these last few years. I mean, I feel like everyone knows I'm a great athlete. I can use my legs when I have to, but understanding that mental side of the game and just grasping like different defenses and various like looks they can give you throughout the game. I feel like that's the more important part, and that's the part I've been trying to improve on. And I feel like I have these last couple of years, and I want to continue to improve that facet of my game because I already have the athletic ability, like I said, but just being able to be more like never putting my coach in a bad play. That's what I always want to take with
Right.
me going into games. So that's what I believe, and I feel like knowing that my coach is never in a bad play if I'm on the field. That's what really sets me apart.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that. And you also played basketball in high school too?
Yes, sir.
So, like, what was that like, kind of trying to, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, you're very talented at football. I don't know much about your basketball side, but like, was there any competition, mental competition for you? Like, what sport you wanted to really stick to?
It was I've been playing football all my life since I was about 4 years old. I picked up basketball around seventh, eighth grade. So my first love has always been football. But even when I started playing basketball, like I wanted to improve because like I said, I'm a competitor, and if I'm gonna be on that court, then I want to make sure like I'm one of the best going out there. I want to attack people and stuff like that. So like I said, football has always been my first love, but understanding like the mental side of basketball as well, being like a floor general, it's kind of the same as being a quarterback. So I take both sports kind of serious, but I got to go with football on that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, again, kind of like you said, the mental side of stuff, and I mean, you can basically go to any great quarterback, and it really not necessarily was their arm talent or their arm strength that separated them from the rest of the pack. It was always the being able to look at a defense, check 3 times, and then call the right play that you wanted. And even at this point, at you're only 1 year in college, and the mentality to get better every year, even with the portal and stuff like that. Because like you said, you knew it was coming. Like it's not like it was some surprise. Like, and it should never. If a kid says, "Hey, they brought somebody in, I want to transfer now," that's something to me where it's like, okay, well then you're not mentally tough. So your mindset to go in, be like, hey, they brought 2 guys in. All right, come on, bring them on. Like
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
go. Let's see what they got. So and to any coach out there, like it's just that's having that mindset in general from high school, college, pro, to all the kids that are gonna watch this to see, how many times you've had to compete for the same job just to prove everyone that you were right in the first place, or like you were the man for the job. I always laugh at that, the fact that you've got to go and fight for the job that 2-3 weeks in, you're like, I not to brag, but I try to tell you guys this in the first place. So it's like, that's one of those things that, you stay humble during the process, and it comes to fruition at the end of the day anyways. Give us something other, on the football side. You're an athlete, and we kind of saw that at Will, you were at the Boca Bowl, weren't you?
Nah, I was not
Oh,
actually. I was not present.
you didn't work it? Oh, I thought you had to work that one.
Nah,
No?
because I only did FAU stuff with the Boca
Right.
Bowl. Like they have their whole committee and stuff like that. So I wasn't a part of
Okay.
that.
So I'll let him kind of talk about that. I'll let JC talk about that. But going to that Boca Bowl, knowing a bowl game, you had those couple of packages, and being able to go in and really show out. But like you said, you don't want to be looked at as the only thing you could do is RPO and hit the hole when you see it. So as you get into this spring, what's something that you really want to work on the field stuff, and then we'll get a little bit into off the field, what you like to do and everything like that.
Really just diving into that, spending as much time as I can in our playbook, because like this is my second year, so I'm pretty familiar with it. But just
Right.
understanding like my reads, progressions, where I'm going with the ball, if they give me this look, I feel like that's also a part I can improve on, and also being more vocal as a leader. This like I'm still young, considered kind of redshirt
For
freshman
sure.
year, so I still feel like this is the time where I can step up and my voice can be heard a little more. Because I've always been, seen as a leader, but I've never been more of a vocal guy. But I feel like this is the year I really want to work on that. And, I feel like that can also set me apart in the long run.
Oh, for sure. Having your quarterback being not the rah guy. You don't got to be the let's go, like get on your shit, like let's get it rocking. But like, hey guys, all right, here's a play call. Everyone, shut up. Let's get this going. Let's get going. Hey, get your huddle right. All the little things that a coach doesn't want to be like. Hey, why aren't you in the huddle? Why aren't you getting your guy? Like that's if a coach sees you doing that, being like you said, the floor general. That's what they're looking for. They're at the same time they're preparing you for the biggest league, and at the biggest league they don't cater to that. So getting that right now and getting it right before all that is huge, and a great mentality to have as you grow through. Being a quarterback is obviously the hardest position on the field, so obviously you've got to grow every year. Progression is everything. And again, being a redshirt freshman, you like you said, you're familiar with it. Now it's time to dive deep. You got some competition. Their experience. They got more games than you. So everything for you is just be better than your yesterday. So that'll be the biggest thing for you, definitely going into this season. And give us a little bit about what you like to do off the field. Tell us, I know we've talked about NIL a little bit, and what you would, what's something that you if you had a dream of an NIL deal, what's something other than EA cover? I know you want that one. Other than the EA cover,
EA cover.
we could talk about that. Let's get some games under our belt, and then we'll talk about that one.
Yeah. So something I've recently like taken a liking to has actually been, a little more under the radar, but I've actually really enjoyed bowling recently. Like
Really?
I love to go bowling.
Little CP3 action?
I'll spend hours there, spend hours in
Oh man.
so, bowling is actually really, really up there for me. Like I could just
All
go by
right.
myself and just have an amazing time.
Oh, I
Honestly,
love
yeah,
that.
that's true. It is like it's also probably good to like clear your head, give you something
Exactly.
to take your mind off football. Like I know that who was it? Carson Beck. He was up there and he was like, I hate watching football. Like I can't
Yeah,
watch it. Like it's stressful for me.
I get it though. Like I can see like a sport like that, like being able to kind of, and I think golf is kind of like one of those sports where it's like you don't necessarily have to be amazing at it to go enjoy it. It's just you're outside. Most likely, if you're in a place like a Florida or a California, it's probably some really nice weather if you're playing. So it's like one of those sports where if I go spend a couple hours, if I hit a 300 game, amazing. If I go -2 or I hit a 0, like it is what it is. Like it's just one of those days. But it was a great time while I did it. So I kind of like that. And we'll see. Maybe get you your own bowling ball or something. That's
maybe.
nice nice big
That would
JMU
be
ball.
fire.
That'd
I
be
love
That
that'd
would
be
be
sick.
nice.
I
That'd be
love
cool.
that.
So something different, some little bit. I like that, and I think like again, kind of one of those things where it's like you wouldn't think about it unless you really cared. So I like that. That's a good one. Will anything?
Yeah, so talk to us a little bit about coming like I'm going back to high school, but coming out of high school, your offers, just like kind of go through that. Like what was your thought process? Like how did you come to your decision to JMU?
So for me, I still had a lot to work on throughout my high school career in terms of like mechanics and stuff, things like coaches were looking for when I would go in front of them at camps. So that's why I kind of flew under the radar until about my junior year. It picked up a little for me. Up till then, I had my offers from UTSA and UIW, two Division I schools out of San Antonio, because that's where I was
Right.
in high school at the time. So I always wanted those, like my first Power Five offer, and I kept working towards that. And I had schools talking to me, but no one ever took that chance on me, so that motivated me even more. I had a lot of G5, group of five schools, calling me. I had a lot of group of five schools offer me as well coming out of high school. Schools like App State and UMass, schools like that. They were always in contact with me. But I also committed to Jacksonville State, I think late November, and then I was still in contact. That's when Coach Kennedy, in the summer, before my senior year, Coach Kennedy would come to drive to see me at camps and stuff like that. And when he had called me and my family and told us they got the job at James Madison, like when I took that time when he came to talk to me, and I used that, and I was like, okay, I see this guy. If he says something, he really means it. And I feel like that's the thing you want to look for most when it comes to coaches. So we sat down, had that conversation, and he told me he got the job, and I was like, okay, like I want to come play for you. So it was all kind of last minute. I didn't take any official visit to James Madison or anything like that, but when they told me they got the job, I knew I wanted to come play for Coach Kennedy and the staff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That makes
Have
sense.
and have you felt like getting up to JMU? Like, obviously it's you're a journeyman, so I feel like you're used to, quick change, lifestyle change, stuff like that. Have you feel like you progressed? I mean, I know leaving South Florida is a little spoiling, being able to walk outside in mid-December and shorts and a t-shirt, but obviously, you going back up to school here in a little, and you're gonna be a little cold when you get back up there. Are you have you felt like comfortable throughout the year? Have you felt I guess you at home at JMU? What's your mindset towards the school itself and obviously the change itself?
I definitely have felt comfortable throughout this last year over there. It's a little different from South Florida, like you said, in terms of weather and the people, but I've enjoyed it this
People for
time.
sure.
Yeah, but I feel like I've created a lot of strong relationships and bonds with guys like 10, 15 years down the line that I'll still be in contact with to this day. So I can't complain at all. I do think it's supposed to snow on Sunday, so that might be tough. But other than that,
Bring your nice warm leggings.
yeah. So other than that, I can't really complain. But
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get that. I
so
mean, born and raised, I get it. Cold.
yeah,
I'm good for a vacay.
yeah,
Good ski trip. We're on it. Let's go. But other than
of
that,
course,
on Monday, I'm back here. Go ahead,
yeah,
Will.
nah, so you had the opportunity of playing in the Boca Bowl this past season, right?
yes,
So
sir.
like what was that like? They were running what, two different quarterbacks for that game?
Yeah, we had a little
Was
two quarterback system.
and that was designed from before the game.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So how did like did you was it obviously it was a great opportunity, but do you feel like maybe you could have I don't want to say like do you feel like you served like an important role that game, or do you feel like there was more of your talent to be displayed?
You know, you always want to, go out throw for 300, run for 100. Everybody always
Yeah,
wants to go out and do that. So of course, I feel like I could have done more, but at the same time, like it was a part of the game plan, and I just did whatever I could to help my team win that game. So if that was running the ball 10, 15 times or throwing the ball 10, 15 times, whatever it was, I was gonna do it to make sure we came out with the win. So it was a great, little experience as well. Being a true freshman and seeing that real time action and seeing how fast the game moves as well. So I can't really complain at all. And also was blessed to be the offensive MVP of that game. So it was a
right,
great
right.
experience.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just great. I mean, you FAU, you haven't played FAU before? Like, nah, they didn't play this year, right?
Nah,
This year you're a
nah.
freshman, right? So
Yeah.
how did
Well,
you
JMU is their SBC,
nah, they're in
SBC,
Sunbelt, yeah, right? You're in
Sunbelt
Sunbelt.
Yeah,
SBC.
FEU's American.
Yeah,
American.
Yeah,
FAU's
exactly.
American. You're in the Sunbelt
Yeah,
though, if I'm
yeah,
Hmm.
not
Sunbelt.
mistaken.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah. JMU,
yep.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of remember, I feel like Evan, you were talking about, or didn't JMU's football team had an incredible season? Was it
Yeah, that was
a
where
year ago?
Singletti, the Indiana coach, that was the staff before them. That was probably right before they recruited you, right? Like, or
Yeah,
well, I'm saying this staff is the JMU staff that recruited you after Singletti and then left to go to Indiana, right?
yeah, yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, because that was that year that they went like 12-1 or whatever,
Right.
and they had ESPN Game Day, all that stuff. That was not this past, the year before. So
2023.
JC was there for that spring of 2024.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So that,
Yeah, but even so, like, just going to like, I'm sure you had to have been excited going to James Madison from the jump. I mean, it seems like it's a great opportunity for you to learn a different like system, way of life, being from all over the country, but mostly or 2 years in Miami, right? You played 2 years of high school football in Miami.
Senior.
So
not just senior year,
oh,
right?
just the senior year.
Mhm.
Okay, my
Yeah,
fault, my
and that
fault.
was
Yeah, but I just think that if well, I do have a question. Why you picked up just piece together something for me. You picked up the red shirt this
this
season.
year.
Yes, sir.
He
So
was a true
this is just
freshman.
a part of
Only
my
played
ignorance.
3 games.
How 3 games? So you can pick and choose what 3 games you want to play in. Is that
Not
Usually coaches
necessarily.
decide.
Yeah, it was
so?
usually.
Like okay, but like the bowl game counts as
Doesn't
like one of those.
No, I don't know.
No.
Does it? No, it's a play. It's not a regular season game.
Okay, that's why I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
Okay, okay. So
Mhm.
that's how
yeah,
all
no,
that came together. Okay.
yeah. That's how you can play an extra game basically as a red shirt, because it's not a regular season game.
Exactly.
So
Right. No, that's
so
a great opportunity overall. I
that's
mean,
that's
that's
that's what we
all things
said.
considered.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
The fact that well, we even said even the other night that you know Western Kentucky was not ready for you. Like they saw you come in the game, they're like, "Who the hell is this big ass kid coming in the game? Like, who's got a scouting report on him?" All of a sudden, 20 yards down the run, and they're like, "What just happened?"
Exactly.
Yeah. I guarantee that was what that DC was like. Who called this kid? Who brought him in? Somebody check his ID.
No,
So, but yeah, no, I mean, I agree with Will. I mean, the Boca Bowl was a great experience for somebody in your abilities, to display what you're really good at, and also have the opportunity to not say carry your team to a win, but you won the offensive MVP for a reason. So it was really good to have that opportunity. Obviously, your team was definitely loving what you were able to do. So hopefully now getting into spring ball, you can add on to yourself, add on to that, that repertoire of the run game, RPO, all that stuff. Now we can start slinging it, and Dad doesn't have to cry about you breaking his fingers anymore.
Yeah, that's great momentum for you. I feel
exactly.
like, you know.
Yep.
Something to build on.
Yeah, exactly. Something to build on for sure. Especially like you said, with the competition that's coming in, it's not Joe Schmo. It's a decent quarterback, and
Mhm.
he's gonna get his reps. So when you get yours, you got to be perfect, and that is the mindset. So, again, I'm glad we could get this done. And we had some technical difficulties that we finally got taken care of. Anything you want to say to the young guys that I would say kind of, I don't want to say had the same journey as you, because not everyone has the same journey, but somebody that has kind of had that journeyman and the lifestyle where it's like you've had to compete your whole life. What is it to you that you can say to them to just like kind of keep on keeping on?
Really, just I like my parents described me as like a more laid back kind of guy. So I would really just say like control what you can control. Like when things don't go your way or like you make a bad throw, I really beat myself up sometimes. But that next play mentality, I feel like that's the most important thing that you could really have as a quarterback. Whether you throw a touchdown or a pick six, like just moving on to that next play, then if you're able to do that, then you'll definitely go far in this position, because you have to be so level headed, never let the highs get too high, never let the lows get too low. So just being even keeled as a quarterback, I feel like that's the most important aspect of this position.
Yeah, it's very few quarterbacks that end up being successful that are hot headed, or you know they drag on too much about the bad. Even glorify the good too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, even keel in this position, because the days where you throw for 300 yards, rush for 100, throw for 3, rush for 2, in about 6 weeks, if something bad happens and all of a sudden you're throwing 3 picks and two sacks every quarter, all of a sudden the narrative for you gets flipped around real quick, especially at the quarterback position. Whereas
Exactly.
Oh
like
yeah.
the team, the success, you hate to hear it and you hate to say it, but it all comes down to what your quarterback is doing for you. So there's always a lot of pressure on you guys, quarterbacks in general. And it is one of those things where it's like, if you aren't even killed, or you aren't, not to say laid back, but like if you aren't easy minded and able to control what like you said, control what you control, it's gonna be a long journey as a quarterback, especially at the high levels like you guys are at. Like
Definitely.
D1 is not just, oh yeah, let me just pick this sport up and I'm gonna go play it. Like that's not how this works out here.
A lot of hours,
Yeah.
and hard work that goes into this.
Oh hell yeah! Weight room all year round. To off season conditioning, spring preseason conditioning. It's a 24-hour sport all day long, baby.
Doesn't stop. We even have Thanksgiving at school. So,
Oh yeah, oh
oh yeah,
yeah. Mid season. What are you going home for? I'm your family. What are you
exactly.
going home for? I'm your family. We're here. This is your family.
More
I
work.
can't tell you how many I can't tell you how many coaches I've heard drop that line. What are you
Yeah.
going home for? We're here. Your family's here.
So everything you need is right here. So,
That's it. That's it. Will, any last questions for you, man?
I was just gonna say, you know, being well, first I guess two parts. The first one was, have you always been more of the dual threat mobile quarterback, or is that something that you've also kind of developed maybe over time?
I feel like I've definitely been, able to make a play with my legs since I picked up a football. I was like I said, I started when I was 4 years old, and I've been making people miss since I was 4 years old. So, that's all that is.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I'm assuming like you're loving your time up in North Carolina, if I'm
No,
correct.
Virginia.
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 Okay. I have family or a cousin of mine that lives up there actually. So, but you like it up there? Everything's good in that?
Yeah, it's a great, great college experience for me. I got a lot of help from my advisors as well on the academic side, and like I said, I've created a lot of relationships with guys that when they have families and I have families, like I'll hit them up, ask them how they're doing and stuff like that. So
Right. Nah, yeah, that's what it's all about. Hey, you know, I'm good on my end. It was really nice talking to you, getting to meet you. Hopefully, we'll meet in person sometime. I'm sorry it had to be this way tonight. I mean, I'm kind of enjoying it. It's been all right, minus the technical difficulties. But best of luck if I don't talk to you before next season. But we'll probably start working, put some stuff in the works next couple months.
definitely,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like I said, we'll get something rocking and rolling here. And JC, I'm glad you could join us for this episode for sure. It's always nice to have the guys come on and girls as well to come on, tell their story, because in reality, even with a podcast of our size, it's just nice to be able to kind of develop your story, even if it's not like reaching 10,000, 50,000 people. Somebody out there is going to hear this, whether it's the high school kids that I coach at Watsie's, or somebody that is just looking for your name. It pops up on YouTube, and one of those things is like, damn, hearing that from him, he's a bowler. You know what? I'm gonna go try bowling. You know what I'm saying? But little things like that can really build a connection with the fan or something to that extent where it's like, you know what? Like, I like him because of that interview I saw it. And that's kind of why we like to do these interviews with you guys and give yourselves the opportunity to kind of give the people more than, we know you're a good athlete. We know you're a good football player, a good quarterback, a good teammate. And it's nice to have you give that opportunity to show everybody else that there's more to it than just football. And, that goes a long way because football is not forever. So when you're 50 and you're bowling with your buddies, like you just said, that, you're, going to be around and you've known for the last 20 years and you guys go bowling, you're going to look back on this episode and be like, I used to tell people when I was a freshman, I love bowling. Now I get to bring your kids, my kids, everything like
well,
that. So that's kind
exactly.
of why I like doing these, and I'm glad you could join us for sure.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, not a problem. It's always a pleasure, man. I told you, once we get this train rocking and rolling, it's gonna be a fun ride. And Will, always he'll be with us along the way as well. So I'm glad you guys could get some conversation and communication points as well as we build this up. And obviously we'll get this chopped up, edited. We'll get you locked and loaded for the long haul. And then obviously we hope nothing for the best for you, the family, and your journey along this way, because I know I'm gonna be watching. I know Will be watching, and we'll be here. You got my number. You know where I live now. So, if you ever need anything, you just come knocking. I'm usually home. So I'm glad you could join us. Good luck this spring. I hope it's as successful as I think it's gonna be. Don't freeze your balls off too much. Dress warm. No frostbite. You'll be all
We got
right.
long johns.
Get
Yeah,
some.
long johns. Long johns are key, baby.
Long
Long johns are
johns.
key for sure. So, all right, I will let you
All
go.
right.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you, and I'll give you a shout later next week once you're back and settled in at school.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me on again.
All right,
Take it
JC.
easy, JC. All right. All
JC
right.
Evans, ladies and gentlemen. That's your,
Yeah, nah.
that's your
So
that's
that
your
was
future right
JC.
there, ladies and gentlemen. Watch it. Watch.
What?
That's the future right there.
Oh, the
That's
future? Yeah, for
that
sure. For
he
sure.
he is about as after I rewatched the Boca game. He is about as legit as it comes. They need to get him in the passing reads more, but like overall, like he's next level. Like he to me, he's a Power 5 kid that just was under the radar because of the transferring.
The mobile quarterback is the new archetype for quarterbacks. So, you know,
6'6", 235,
yeah.
and can run 4.445. Just saying.
Athlete.
So,
Athlete.
but
But
again,
yeah,
you got to progress every year.
What?
He's got to progress every year.
Yeah.
Can't stay stagnant at a group of five. At a group of five, you got to get better every year.
With that mentality in 4 more years, sky's the limit.
Hello, thank you. At least somebody gets me.
Absolutely. But no, we'll keep it moving here. That was about 30 minutes interview. Good timing. So maybe just a little bit about NFL playoffs.
Yeah, might as well. It's divisional weekend. I think some of those points were a little bit high. I don't know if you saw some of those. They were a little high for me. 8 and 9 points on a divisional playoff game.
Over under?
Excuse me. Spreads.
Oh.
9 points on spreads in the divisional playoff game.
Oh, wow. Which games?
Those are I think Rams and Philly, and I think Kansas City and oh my God, Kansas City versus. Come on, pop up. What are you here for, you stupid ticker? Stupid ticker. You're supposed to pop up when I say Houston. Thank you. Yeah, I think that was like 9. So, but it's also because of the weather. Like they're saying that Houston's not going to be able to play. Kansas City's going to be used to it. Blah blah blah. You know, all that stuff. But anyways,
the people's Super Bowl is the Bills versus the Ravens, and honestly,
yes,
I feel bad. I feel bad that they have to play in the divisional round. I would have loved to have seen them play in the championship. I think maybe, because the way the NFL does their seeding is, I feel like a little bit weird.
It only is because of the way the division's set up sometimes. Yeah. Like if you have a really good division and you just get stuck at that, that 6, 7 seed.
Or if your division sucks.
Yeah, and you get thrown into
the Rams, division, winning the division at 10 and 7, hosting the first playoff game against the Vikings. I didn't think the Vikings were going to win anyway, but it's Bills versus
here we go.
Ravens.
Finally, it pops up. Now it comes up.
Bills versus Ravens. I think whoever wins that is gonna go to the Super Bowl on the AFC side. I'd really like for that to happen.
Over under 51. Baltimore minus 1.5. That's the only game that's the only game that's like close.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. No, that's Celtics. I don't care. Nobody cares about the Celtics. Anyway.
Yeah, but I think the Vikings did what they were supposed to do last week. The Rams, Sean McVay led team, veteran, Super Bowl champion, Sean McVay.
Put it on them.
They have winning culture over there.
9 sacks. Yeesh. In a playoff game.
Whew. Made Sam Darnold look like he was on the Jets. I mean, his jersey was green at the end. Well, they're playing on turf, but
no, they played on Arizona. That's real grass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Arizona's real grass. They roll it. They roll it out.
Oh, yeah?
Into the sun. Yeah. The stadium. They got this like little door that the stadium.
Yeah, like Oakland Stadium.
Rolls out. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so it was. But anyways, yeah, you're right though. He did look like he got beat up in a dog park. Like that's how bad it was. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I think you kind of said it. I think the experience showed on the Ram side, but even still, when you look at the defensive side of the Rams, I mean, offensively they got a lot of experience, but on the defensive side, it's very young. Like 3 out of the 4 starting linemen are rookies or 2 years or less. One of the linebackers is a rookie. The DBs are all, fairly young. So it's like kind of crazy that this defense kind of held Sam Darnold or kept him, beat up as much as they did. Because you would think an offensive veteran line like the Vikings have that has done so well in the run game and the pass protect would be able to hold it. But 9 sacks.
It's not going to win you a game.
Yikes. That's not good. So,
but
yeah.
let's maybe hopping off that, I don't think anything else happened in the wild card round that was too out of sorts. I mean, Washington got a nice win, ended their
I think,
playoff win drought.
yeah, I think the Texans was probably the only true surprise.
Yeah, because the
Like,
Texans didn't really have it in them the last
yeah, they were just
five,
kind of
6 weeks of the
gutted on the.
season.
Well, they were just so injuries, a lot going on. Like, I don't know, just again, kind of one of those things where I'm glad they showed up. Like, you know, they showed up when they needed to, and that's the name of the game. Like, show up when you need to show up, play the game like it needs to be played, and that's what the Texans did. Now they draw Kansas City, but I
They made
guess
it.
lightning could strike twice. Maybe I don't know, but I mean, again, we yep, you play the game to play the game. You never count anybody out, especially at the professional level. Like, this is the time where here we are, playoffs. Who's going to show up? 4 quarters. You play till the whistle blows, and if the score is a blowout, then it's a blowout. If it's close, it's close. But again, do I think Texans are 9-point underdogs? I don't believe so. I mean, after what they just showed me last weekend, I don't see 9 points. But are they also playing a guy that has never lost in a divisional round? Yeah. So 6-0, 13-0, whatever he is, versus divisional rounds of the playoffs, like, no big deal or anything.
Right, yeah.
Never lost a divisional playoff game. I don't even know what Brady's stats is on that. We're still talking about who's the GOAT. Let's give it another 3 years, and we're about to have a completely different conversation. So, again, kind of one of those things where it's like, do you hope that Vegas is wrong? Yeah, for sure. I want a better game than 9 points, 10-point win. Like, I could see them winning by 10 points. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I hope the Texans come in with some fire that they are being disrespected like that. So, I don't know. That's my mindset. I would hope they'd come in taking that as an insult. And I'm sure knowing C.J. Stroud and all them, and Will Anderson and all them boys, like, I guarantee their coaches got them ready to go. I can tell you, what's his name, D'Amico Ryan. That man is a defensive-minded coach, so I know him and I would get along just fine, because I know he is on his defense right now, saying we will not let Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce beat us.
Right.
Like, we will not. Like, I don't care what else they beat us with, but they will not beat us with them too. Like, I just know, as a
You'd
defensive
hope
coach.
so.
Yeah, right. Like, exactly. That's just the only mindset I can have. Just don't. We'll stop everything else. Just don't let those two beat us. If they beat us on a bunch of Xavier Worthy jet sweeps and go routes, okay. But Travis is not catching the ball. Pat's not throwing for 600 yards. Like, I don't care. It's not happening. So, I don't know. I get it. I think this weekend's going to be some good ball. I think the Philly, what's that say? Oh, damn it. I missed it. Son of a bitch. But anyways,
Hey, Philly versus the Rams. I think that's going to be a good game. Better than people think.
That's going to be way better than what people
Philly's
actually
getting
think.
too comfortable. The Rams got some momentum because
I
everybody
think
wrote
Philly
them
is
off.
in for a rude awakening. Like, if I'm going to be real, if I'm calling my upset for the weekend out of all these games, I'm calling the Rams. I'm saying Stafford's going to throw decent amount. I don't think he'll be careless with the ball. Darius Slay might get one on him, but I think the funny thing was the Cooper DeJean and the Cooper Cup memes that have just been the great whites have been going out this last
Great
week.
whites.
It is so funny to watch. Whoa. It has been so funny to watch them, kind of progress on them going up against each other and using this stereotype to kind of clout the entirety of the game. It's it's honestly hilarious. It's like the one time the minority of the sport is actually the best, is the best part of it, of the scenario. They are just too funny because they're gonna go against each other every 3 plays. They line up on the same side. So it is going to be great to watch and see if these memes come to fruition.
That'll be a fun game. Give us your take real quick, as we wrap up here, just give me your take on the Bills-Ravens game and what you think is going to come from that.
Oh man, Lamar, you gotta be clutch. I think this is the year that Josh Allen has the most um, momentum going in. I think he's been on such a roll throughout the whole season that going into this game is the best chance for them to, meet Kansas City, quote unquote, meet Kansas City again. Saying that the Texans don't, pull a, a magic stick and, bop them with it. But I think I want to take the Ravens. I think I want to take them to hold it down on the defensive side. Um, I think their defense has progressed more than the Bills' defense in the last 5 games. So if I'm looking at it, I think I want the Ravens to win. And yeah, I mean that's just where I'm at with it. I love the Bills, and I think it's going to be a close game. I mean 1.5. I can't get much closer than that. So, um, again, I think at this point, I think Lamar is going to come in, and I think he's going to be, I think he's going to be the guy. Like I think it's going to be his time to shine. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, I mean at this point, I love Buffalo. Like I have
The
loved what they've done this
Bills,
year.
the
Or
Bills
the Bills still the Bills.
have home field advantage at one of probably the most home field advantage stadiums in the
Right.
league. They play there half their games. I'm not going to say it's cold for more or cold and like that or snowing for more than half their season, but practicing there, playing there, open air, cold, wind, snow. It's gonna be a tough task. Not to say the Ravens play in an open
Yeah,
dome
yeah. I mean,
stadium
they play
too,
open.
so
It just doesn't
it's
snow
not
all the
just all
time.
about that. But I think the Ravens have the more complete team. Um, I'm gonna feel bad for whoever wins this one, but I'm gonna feel worse
I
if
agree.
Lamar loses. So I'm gonna have to stick with the Ravens here and hope that they get to the Super Bowl like I'm predicting to face the Lions, who I think are just gonna. I think the Lions are coming out of the NFC.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Lions are the NFC champs. It's theirs to lose. They've got. I mean, I know they had a couple injuries on the offensive line, but again, kind of one of those next man up. We're in the playoffs. Like there is no pity party here. Like get ready to go. So I'm not gonna feel bad for the Lions on the injury side. Everyone's beat up. It's the playoffs. You know, find your next guy, get him right, get him ready to go. And it's like I said, it's theirs to lose. It's one of those things where it's like I believe that, like you said, out of the NFC, the Lions are my pick as well. I also think, the AFC is probably out of the three. The Gauntlet is probably the most competitive out of the three. Like, like sometimes Lamar a couple years ago, he didn't have the huge offensive spurt he had now. Um, Same kind of mindset with regards to the the Bills. Their offense was not clicking going into the playoffs 2 years ago. Things like that. So a lot of it is like this year, the three, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo, the three of them are basically, I would say, even, like for the
Absolutely.
most.
Yes.
So whoever it's again, and again, we just talked about it, it's like whoever shows up on Sunday, that's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the deciding factor. So we'll see. And we play all 4 quarters, baby. More if needed. More if needed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
All right.
again,
Well, that's good on my end. We got
yep,
football this week. We'll be back next week, hopefully, for another episode.
yep. We'll be back. We'll be back under the Tiki Hut next week. Hopefully get Jacoby on here next week. I've been waiting on him to let me know on what day is best for him. So he can come on and talk a little bit about the NFL. We got some new NFL guys that we've signed, so we'll be having them come on in the next couple of weeks, talk about their draft process, coming out of smaller schools, being the underdogs, all that good stuff that we pride ourselves on giving guys a chance here at LSC and giving them the ability to tell their story here on No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap. So for Will, for me, we're glad you joined us. Congratulations to ourselves. A little pat on the back for Will and I. We finally hit the big 100 marker. Uh, please keep sending out, our page. Please keep, subscribing. We appreciate that. We're just trying to help, everyone that we can kind of tell the stories that, our clients deserve to be told, and really hope that we reach some, we try not to be super motivational, but on those days and the guys that come in that give those little speeches, we hope they hit home for somebody, that's listening. And, that's where we stand and why we do this on a weekly basis, or try to on a weekly basis. So for Will, for Evan, myself, thank you again. We'll see you next time here on No Client Agent Privilege, aka No Cap Podcast. See you next
Peace.
week.